Joining us today are pastors and authors Bill and Donna Dyck, who have walked through the very dark days with their own son, and who struggled deeply with his own addiction. They've written this great devotional called Hope for the Unwanted Journey for anyone on a similar journey. And so they are here today to tell us about it. Thank you so much for being here today, Bill and Donna.
Well, it's great to be with you. Thank you for the invite. Yeah.
I think this book is amazing. I love the way that it's broken down into daily readings for 24 weeks. And in it, you've explored some of your own struggles, battles, and victories in the journey with your own son. So what inspired you to write this book and share your story with others?
Well, I think, God, I think it's God that called us into it. That's probably the big thing. But I would also say meeting so many parents who are in a place of darkness and a place of despair. They have a loved one and they're struggling very much to figure out where's God in the middle of all of this. The level of hopelessness is really profound. They find themselves, as the title says, in a very unwanted journey, and wanted to bring hope to them. Also, there's not a lot of resources out there. There are for the addicted person, but it's not so much for the parents, and definitely wanted to put something in the hands of parents who are in a very difficult place.
That is so helpful because you're right. The truth is you have to walk this journey together. And so, Donna, what were some of the things that God taught you as a result of the journey you've had to walk?
Well, I was thinking about this, Bill. I was thinking there's four things that comes to my mind. And the one is that no one is beyond hope.
Amen.
We serve a good shepherd who is very able to rescue our loved ones. And secondly, it's not your fault. As parents, we can feel very much like it's our fault, and it's not. Another one is that it's very easy to become so focused on on the individual and be just filled with despair as we watch our loved one stumbling around in their addiction and bad choices. And I remember one day the Lord said to me, "Don't look to him, look to me." And that was very profound. And the fourth one, honestly, I forget. It was really good, though.
I believe it. And it's in the book. So those who read there's actually 24 weeks of them. So that's there as well. Well, I love the theme of hope. Because again, we can focus on the unwanted part of the journey. So Bill, what was it that allowed you to hold on to hope when I'm sure there were times when it felt absolutely hopeless?
Well, it's really I would come back often for anybody in this journey for the critical place of prayer. Just finding a place of rest in God in the middle of all the drama that can be present in a home where there's a loved one who's addicted or struggling with mental illness. There can be so much drama. I guess you could describe it that way. But to find a quiet place where you come back to God and make sure that He is still the center. It's very easy to have that displaced and have the loved one who is so difficult maybe or challenging take center stage. But really, God is still on the throne. He's still in the center. He still has his hand upon things, but it's we ourselves that struggle, but in that place of prayer, coming to a quiet place, a resting place in God, that is just so critical here.
Yeah, I think many people think of God's peace as the cessation of the storm, but what I've learned, it's his presence in the storm. That is the peace. And sometimes the storm still is raging around us, but it's his words, "Do you trust me?" So what are some of the unique, Donna, challenges that you had to wrestle with, and maybe others who are watching who have a loved one who's struggling with a loved one who has addiction or mental illness? What were some of those challenges and how did you handle them or navigate them?
I think the hardest thing for me is that my dad was an alcoholic.
Okay.
My brother was an alcoholic and a drug addict, and both of them died young. And that was it was terrifying as I watched my own boy getting lost in addictions, and my greatest fear is that he would never grow up. And I had to just go to God, like just out of desperation, to give me hope, because watching him, there was no hope. My hope was squarely on God, and the idea that no situation, no one is beyond reach of our Father. And that sustained me.
Yeah, because I can only imagine. I mean, we all do this. We project a future that hasn't even happened yet, but when we do that, we create a narrative, and often it's a negative narrative.
That's
So,
true.
so Bill, how were you able to turn that narrative, which I mean, in all honesty, could have been really negative, to a positive narrative of hope? Like, what did you do to keep yourself hopeful, I guess is what I'm asking, in the middle of the struggle?
I think to you know, that again, I come back that place of prayer, you know, staying in the scriptures. There's not a lot around us that will bring encouragement and hope. Not a lot that's visible. So taking our cues from God, even asking Him for next steps in the journey, because there don't seem to be really clear next steps, but He guides us, you know, like specific baby steps forward. What you know, because it's such an unwanted journey, it's such a new journey. What is the way forward? But he gives us those things. He gives us those steps forward. You know, and yeah, for sure, clinging on to not letting weariness wear me out, but being diligent to draw near to God. I think making sure that Donna and I are still on the same page too. If we let division come between us, that's a you know, in these things, it's very easy to have different approaches on how to handle things, but making sure that we're still on the same page is very critical.
I love that. So yeah, so for those of you who are watching who maybe are wrestling with this issue, this is a great resource for you. Again, it's called Hope for the Unwanted Journey. You can go to our website. All the resources are available for you there. And again, just be reminded that you are not alone. Yeah, like I love how you said it, Bill and Donna. Stay together, trust God, believe that the story is not over, and that is what gives us hope. We serve a miracle working God. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Amen.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.